Hey everybody, how you doing? My name's Henry Member with Angle and Brokers, and today we're getting the 3-2-1 on hold on. Abe's Custom Cornholes. Thank you, I had to do that.
Yeah, it's alright.
This is Abe, by the way. So,
Hi.
so as you know, with 3-2-1 showcasing the Space Coast, one of the things we try to highlight is local businesses that give back, mom and pops, whether it's out of your house or a storefront or whatever it be. And we're doing that just today with Abe's Custom. So before we get into everything that makes the cornhole and the businesses that you've got going on, tell us a little bit about you. Where were you born? Where'd you come from? How did it all get started?
Oh, sure. Actually, I was born in New Jersey. Didn't live there long enough to really be called from New Jersey, I guess. I was probably about 7 or 8 years old when we moved down here to West Palm and lived down there pretty much my whole life. Came up here to the 321 area in 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
and
you've been here a while.
Yeah. And graduated from Palm Bay High.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
My daughter did too.
Yeah.
She was graduating,
Yeah. And just been living here ever since. Yeah, working, going to school, doing all that kind of stuff.
So what did you find yourself doing when you first came to the Space Coast? Because over the last few years, it's changed so much.
Yeah.
So when you first got here, what were the things that you used to do, or that you maybe missed?
I got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Didn't we all?
Yeah. Yeah. In 2001, 2003, it was my I think sophomore and junior year. No, 2003 is when I graduated high school. So.
Okay.
Kind of young buck, but not really now.
Right,
It's catching up to everybody now. Yeah, I mean, got my first car up here, just really lived all around and just did the normal things that we do for,
Right.
as a young adult, and got involved at the house church here, which is a local church that me and my family still attend now. And yeah, I mean, we work and live. We love our family.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was it what did you used to do before cornholes and all that, to kind of get you? Cause I mean, you weren't born wanting to make cornholes.
Yeah, no.
So what did you do when you first started working, and what led to you starting to do cornholes?
So I actually worked at Prestige Volkswagen, was my main life career.
Okay.
So I worked there for about 14 years.
Wow.
If you count consecutively, it was much longer, but took some time to really. Should I? Is that going to bother the lawn?
We're rolling. Spike Lee, long live.
Sorry.
We're rolling.
Yeah. All right. So worked at Prestige Volkswagen. Worked sales for the vast majority of my life, and as far as my career goes, just really needed more time to spend with the family, being present.
Right.
My children, my two boys, growing up in school, really just not happy with the public school systems. So we decided to homeschool, which put a heavy burden on my wife, Crystal, and she took it great, but needed more support.
Right.
More help out in the area, and we decided it's really time for us to do something where we can all be together.
Right.
So this was a business that I started doing, as a side business, and
but was it when you decided to start doing it? Was it one of those things where it was something that you already did, or was it something that you said, "Oh, wait a minute, I can do that"?
Yeah.
So, did you play cornhole? Were you all
No. So in 2014, we went ahead and we did a. Sorry, give me just a second. I know we're rolling full time, but
so stay tuned for my dancing. See.
There we go.
They don't want to see my dancing anymore. I don't know.
Sorry, the lawnmower is a big distraction out there, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. All right, so where were we?
See, that's why I take my hearing aid out everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
I'm taking it out.
So in 2014, Crystal and I got married.
Right.
And we made a couple of cornhole sets for our wedding because it was an outdoor wedding. We wanted things for our guests to do.
Okay.
And we had a few friends say, awesome playing cornhole at your wedding, and you made those yourself. Can you make me a set? So I made a few sets for friends, and then a few of those friends talked to their friends about their cornhole sets. And that's kind of how the ball got started rolling. And then a good friend of mine, Rob, he introduced me to a young lady that makes cornhole bags, and she was selling cornhole bags at Renegers Market. And I got to know her pretty well because I was I was building the boards and purchasing my bags from her so that I can give them to people who ordered sets.
Right.
We would do maybe 1 or 2 sets a week at that point, and it wasn't much, but eventually, Mary was her name, the lady that did the cornhole bags.
Right.
Eventually, she didn't want to do it anymore, and she wanted to move away. So she offered to sell me her inventory and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, everything that she did with the cornhole bags, her fabric and her spot at Renegers Market. So I went ahead and I said, sure, I'll take over it. It's something that we need. It's a lot less expensive than purchasing the bags online, and I'm able to, be customizable. So we bought that from her, and it wasn't like a big heavy transaction.
Right.
She basically gave it to me for like a few $100,
Right.
because she just didn't want to do it anymore. She just, basically to sell the spot.
Right. Right.
And so that's when we got established at Renegers Market, and that all took place within the year in 2014. So by 2015, we were already set up at Renegers Market, established. People knew where to come to buy bags and come to buy boards, and that's where we've been ever since.
Oh, nice. So obviously, being at Renegers Market, you guys, crowds have to pass you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they see the work and they see all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
So do you notice that? Okay, so I'm just making assumptions here because I don't know, but so would you say that different types of boards, as far as like college teams and stuff, that they sell at different times of year? Because like right now it's college football season, NFL, college football, all that stuff. So do you see a lot more now college football boards and stuff like that, or what is it that you see?
No, actually, we do very, very little teams as far as boards go. We do more patriotic themes,
Okay.
more beach style themes.
Right.
Classic.
On the Space Coast.
Yeah. Classic stained sets, like a nice wood finish stain. We'll do blank boards, just plain ones like well, you guys can see them, but plain ones that are like here in the background, they sell pretty well. So yeah, we don't do very many teams. We'll do team bags because the fabric you can purchase
Right.
with the logos on them and everything, so that makes it easy. Yeah, so that's what we do the most of, I think, is patriotic and beach style, and then customized ones too. People actually, they'll send me pictures that they want, like from their family.
Okay.
So I've done collages on the boards.
Really?
Yeah, and like.
So how do you do that? Do you just get the print and then put it on the board?
Yeah, so everything is designed on a computer. I'll do all of the renderings, design how the boards will look, exactly how they'll look, and then send them to the customer for approval. And once they approve them, then we go to print. Cool. So it's printed on graphic vinyl, which is like the same kind of, like if you were to get your car wrapped for advertisement, it's the same stuff. So it's extremely durable. Okay. I mean, it's made to withstand wind, rain, all that kind of stuff. Right. So the graphics themselves will actually outlast the boards, especially if you ever get them like really wet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, maintaining them is pretty simple. You just bring them into the porch or into the garage and keep them from getting rained on, and they'll last you forever. Have people that have owned cornhole sets that still, every time they pull them out to play, they'll tag me in one of their posts from years and years ago. So yeah, they last forever. We use superior quality products to our materials. Most cornhole sets that you can find online will use like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch plywood. Right. We use a 3/4 inch for ours, so it's very sturdy. Right. No bounce. That's another big issue with people who know cornhole. If you use thin plywood, you throw the bag at it and it hits right in the middle, it'll bounce. And they're not supposed to. Yeah. They're supposed to hit the board and slide. That's the whole idea behind it. But if it bounces, then it throws your whole game off. We since we use 3/4 inch plywood, makes it a little heavy. So to compensate for that, instead of using 2x4 for the sides, we use 2x3. Which overall, when you use a 3/4 inch and a 2x3, it's about the same width, but much lighter. Keeps the weight about the same.
Right.
So it's just a really good product. We miter our edges too, so that the ends, they meet together. I'll see if I can pull it into the shot. The ends meet at a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, what you'll see end grain, either on the top or on the side, where the boards would meet like this. On your standard ones that you order online, or if other people make them, or you make them yourself. So the 45-degree, it keeps the end grain from being visible, which if it ever does get damp, it lasts a lot longer because it's not going to soak up water, and it's a lot easier to paint. It looks cleaner too overall, the finish.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and then the legs fold in and out, so it makes it really simple to keep and use. But another thing that we do that's different from, we don't put any screws in through the surface.
Because normally I see them on the top where they keep the legs and stuff.
Right. So when you get a plain set,
so it doesn't catch the bags.
Right. Yeah. Well, when you get a plain set, you won't see the screw heads or putty or anything like that, because everything actually gets drilled in from the back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. So.
Yeah. So it makes it overall really good sturdy product.
So so I'm assuming, because I know Cornhole has gotten pretty popular. They have tournaments, they have competitions, they have all these kinds of things that go on. So I'm sure that there's things like regulation size.
Yeah.
Is there a regulation weight? Like the bags? Do they have to be a certain?
Yeah. So the bags are regulation weight. The fabric that we use is a heavy duty duck canvas.
Okay.
Which, I mean, you could play on concrete and they still hold up.
Really?
Yeah. And they hold up really well. They are to be filled with whole feed corn.
Okay.
So it's whole kernel corn that's been dried out. We take secret measures to make sure that there's no critters inside of them.
Okay. We're not telling you what they are. Secret.
Yep. So that's usually one of the biggest problems with cornhole bags. I know it seems like, kind of something not to think about, but
yeah, I would never think of that.
A lot of times you order cornhole bags online, they come in, they feel great for the first couple weeks, you store them for a season, you bring them back out at your next picnic or holiday or whatever, and it ends up being just this bag of mush, which means that the weevils are insects that get laid inside of corn.
A what? A weevil?
A weevil, yeah. So it's a little...
There's really weevils?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
Yeah. Check it out.
I want to see a weevil now.
Yeah.
Well, not in my cornhole bag.
No, I learned the hard way, and we came up with methods to fix it, and it worked out great. So weevils, they lay their eggs inside of corn when it's in the field. Okay. So what ends up happening is after they're dried out and everything, the weevil is still germinating inside the corn, and it'll eat its way out of the kernel. And basically just leave a husk and whatever debris it leaves from eating it. So what will happen is that you have thousands of corn kernels inside of a cornhole bag, and it will just be full of weevils, and then you'll have this bloated, soft, mushy cornhole bag.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like those little grain things that you put in. It almost feels like sand almost.
Oh yeah. Well, that's something else too to watch out for. Is a lot of and they feel completely different. Right. So a lot of the product that you get online or even from the stores, it is either filled with sand or beans or rice. It doesn't quite have the feeling of the corn, the weight of the corn, the way you throw it. If you ever get the opportunity to try all the different kinds, it's a big difference.
So what is it? So for regulation wise, does it have to be corn?
No, for regulation, that's not a requirement. It is a preference,
Right.
but not a requirement. They actually do make like synthetic corn, which is plastic corn that they've engineered to look and feel like a corn
This
kernel.
is, technology is getting so crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And then they'll use that with smaller polyurethane pellets
Okay.
so that it has the same feel, or similar feel, because it's not quite the same. Because when you use corn and it hits the board, it actually dusts the board. Like some of the corn dust comes out of the bag, and it makes it slicker, and yeah. So there's a whole.
See, these are things you never think about.
Yeah, yeah. But the people who love cornhole, who love to play, I mean, that's all very, very important to the game.
So so when I played cornhole, not nearly as much as most people so that are into it.
Yeah.
But I've seen people use cherry pits in their bags.
Yeah.
I've seen corn. I've seen rice. I've seen whatever the sandy feeling thing is.
Mm-hmm.
The sandy ones I don't like too much because after a while they start spraying.
Yeah.
So then you have one bag that weighs more than the other, and you're trying
Yeah.
to. But one of the things that I have learned in watching cornhole, because as you and I were talking before this, I was telling you I didn't know that they had all these competitions and that there were people that were also actual like pool sharks or cornhole sharks.
Yeah.
Whatever. And they always talk about like the slammer bag or something,
Yep.
or the lead bag, or like. So does that mean that they weigh more or less, or is it a different type of bag?
Well, they have different types of bags. They have bags with made out of different materials.
Right.
So you can use suede, for instance, on one side of the bag. So when we're making the bags, we do a duck cloth on one side and then suede on the other side. And we sew those together, we flip them inside out and fill them with corn. So now you have one side that's suede, one side duck cloth. The suede side, when you toss it and hits the board, it'll actually stick right in its place because of the way the nap of the suede is.
We're learning so much here.
Yeah.
I like it.
So suede is a big material, or a large part of the of what we do.
Right.
With we call them the professional bags.
Right.
Because you have the option of stick on a stick slide, and then the duck cloth side. If you get it to land on the duck cloth side, it'll slide up the board.
So, but so then I'm a little confused then, because isn't the goal to hit the circle?
It is, yeah. So,
but if I put it on the satin side,
it's
not going to go in the circle. It's just going to.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, so when you're playing the game, depending on how you're scoring, if you're scoring professionally, you'll want to make sure that you have just the exact amount of points that you need. So you can't.
There's a point system?
Yeah, there is point systems. Yeah.
I was like, I got more holes than you did. You lose. You know?
Yeah. So the general, just to keep it general, if you make it in the hole, it's worth 3 points.
3 points. Okay.
And if it lands on the board, it's 1 point.
1 point.
Yeah. So the object is to get to 21. Some people play without going over.
Okay.
Some people just play first to 21 and that's it. Then everybody just stops playing. So there's different ways to do it, but it's the first to 21. So if you are one of those people that like to play till the bags are complete, till the turn is complete. So let's say you hit 21, you sunk the first one you threw. You still have 3 bags left. Your opponent still has 4 bags left. They still have an opportunity to catch up to 21, tie you, and then the game continues.
Right.
So
like an overtime almost.
Right. But if you, with 21 already, go over 21, it knocks you back to 15.
Then I would just box the rest of my throws.
Exactly. But if the other team makes 2 in, now they're tied, and you need to now try to defend your lead. So it just puts a whole different element to the game.
Oh, because then if I was at 21 and I wanted to protect my lead, but then I would have to try to block them at some point.
Right.
The drama unfolds.
Yeah.
Okay. So see that? Okay. See, I can see it being very tense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And usually if we have like, if you're playing in the backyard and you have all the kids like, I got next, you just play first to 21.
Right.
And then that's it. You don't draw it out. Because it can. If you play the actual long way, it can take quite a while to actually finish the game.
So how far apart are they supposed to be from from each other when
Yeah.
you're doing the cornhole? Like,
So there's no rule for backyard. I mean, if you're playing in the backyard, if you want to put them 100 feet away and make it really challenging,
Right.
it's all up to you. It's just to have fun, be with the family in the backyard, and enjoy your time together. You know, you got little ones playing, you put them 10 feet apart so everybody can get a good opportunity.
Right.
If you're playing competitively, I believe the regulation is actually 26 feet apart from end to end.
From the
21 feet,
like,
yeah,
from
26
end to
from
end.
the top, I think, and then 21 if you do the end at the bottom to the end.
Okay.
There's different parameters that people use, and to be honest with you, I can't recall off the top of my head what the exact
Right.
distance is for, like, and
Right.
National Cornhole League Association
Yeah, and
guidelines.
there's different
Yeah.
ones too, because I've been watching them on like Facebook and stuff like that with the reels.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a little bit of difference in length. That's why I was asking.
Mhm.
Because I was like, wait a minute, I know this one was longer than this one. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So are there any like tournaments, competitions around here?
Yeah,
That
they
anybody
do.
that wanted
They
to
do
get into?
tournaments and competitions. City of Palm Bay is actually going to start cornhole leagues here pretty soon. Possibly.
Sign me up.
Yeah, and then you can get with your team and participate however.
Ah,
they're
you
gonna
can be
set
on
it
my
up.
team.
Yeah.
I pick you. I pick Abe. Okay.
Yep.
So how many on a team? Is it like 2 and 2 and 2?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
is it-
Usually it's a team of 2.
So, and then I'm sure you could get, because I was telling him before that I've been following this guy, I can't remember his name, but he's always wearing like sponsored shirts and stuff like that. So I can imagine it gets pretty crazy as far as when you start making
Oh yeah, it's competitive, and if you're good, you can get. I mean, they have it on ESPN now. You can watch.
No, they don't.
Yeah. You can watch.
Wow,
movies
I don't
on
have
ESPN.
cable, so I don't. Wow, you can watch it on.
Yeah, they have full on. They have sponsorships on the boards and everything. Like the guys all wearing like the sponsorship jerseys. Yeah.
Okay, so then you got to make our shirts, okay?
Yeah.
'Cause I think we should have a league where you have one really good player and one that just tanks everything. I'll be your tank, okay?
All
And then
right.
we can just make it even across the playing board.
Sounds good.
So, as far as what you because there's a lot of times when people are trying to build something really big, and there's some people that are like, I'm happy where I'm at,
Yeah.
and this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
So, how do you manage the expectations between where you could go, where you are, maybe where you want to be?
Yeah. So a couple of things. Like my first reasoning for doing this particular thing, like taking it to the next level, is I saw it as an opportunity for me to make extra income.
Right.
And then in turn be able to, one, afford to do more things with my family,
Right.
and then two, if it was able to sustain, then I could be at home full time with my family.
Right.
Homeschooling the kids, being here at home, and then being able to do cornhole boards here in my garage. That afforded us this rare opportunity where I'm completely present if the kids need me for whatever reason.
Exactly. Absolutely.
They'll come in the garage and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm done with school. Do you need any help?" And we'll just, we'll build boards together. Or
That builds
suite.
bonding. There's so
Yeah.
much that comes
Yeah.
out of that besides just.
Yeah. Or we'll just be able to have conversations while I'm working.
Yeah.
Because it's not like just being completely overwatched or anything. So it's just
I know
as long as I can get what I needed done, I'm able to spend time with them. And when lunchtime came around, we'd all eat lunch together, and that's a rare thing that people don't get to do.
No, they
say that
don't.
they get to eat with their family 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
And sometimes if we're ahead, I'll just take the day off and we'll go to the beach or do something. So, I mean, that's rare because, we stay busy with a lot of other things. But, when we first got started, while I was doing this as more of a side job versus a full-time job, I was able to say, you know what, today we're going to go and do something else. And that was really good. So, yeah.
So then you would say that's your why then? Because a lot of people, I'm always curious when people start projects of passion or projects for side business or whatever, and they have to go kind of hand in hand because otherwise they end up burning out and
Yeah.
they fizzle.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm always interested to know people's why, and it's almost never money. It's
Yeah.
almost never money. I mean, it's a byproduct,
Yeah.
but the outcome is I get to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I get to build something. I get to, all those things.
Yeah.
It's great to hear somebody say.
Yeah.
Because how often, because like I'm a realtor right now, and during the day, if somebody needs to come home sick or anybody, or whatever it is, I'm right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I do have showings and stuff, but what you're saying, money can't buy that.
No.
Because down the road, your kids are going to grow up, but what are they going to remember?
Yeah.
Like all those things. And this world has just gotten so, which is great because then when you have parties and stuff, and you got time to check cornhole and other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it for sure. So, when are you hoping that your kids take over the cornhole, or are you hoping, like, where are you hoping to go with it?
Yeah.
If you can.
So another thing I would say would be like our why is being able to use the business to help other people, right?
Okay.
So I do have some people that help out, and they get it's commission based, so it's not really compensated.
Right.
But if they help out, like our young lady that works at the market for us, her name's Kathleen. She's awesome, right? So she handles keeping our little booth organized and looking good for customers, and anybody that comes in wanting to place an order, she'll take the order, and that's something that gets to help her out. She's she has her own business as well that she operates there at the market, but she helps us out by manning the booth on the weekends.
Right.
And that's been a tremendous help. But being able to say, like, what we're doing is also helping someone else,
Right.
is a big plus for us. So that's for me, like, that's something else that we get to do is not just operate and help ourselves, but help other people too.
So what have you seen the biggest changes in being able to do all this as far as your time with your family? Have you seen dynamics change? Have you seen?
Oh yeah, especially with the way, and not to make it like crazy or anything, but like especially with the way that the school systems are going. Having two young boys who are boys through and through, it doesn't work in today's schooling system. They would constantly be in trouble for not sitting at their desk or talking when they're not supposed to talk, and it's just like, man, they got to a place where they were now considered like problematic. Just because a boy has a hard time sitting still in class doesn't make him problematic, but now every time the opportunity came up for them to just send them off to the principal's office or off to the guidance counselor's office, it was just, I felt like I was getting some sort of letter or being phone called at least once a week. So I said, this can't continue. On top of that, academically, like we sat down with our youngest one day while he was still in school, and we went to a friend's house who was homeschooling their child already, and they were just hanging out, and then the mom that homeschools her asked her daughter, "Where do we live?" and pointed to a map, and the little girl went up and pointed right to our Brevard County area on the map, and Gabriel wasn't able to do that. And they were about the same age. Maybe he was a little bit older than she was, and that made me really think, like, man, if if the school system hasn't even done that, like, I'm not doing my job as a parent. I was a fool for thinking, oh, the school system's going to teach them everything they know. And it's like, no. And then as the rabbit hole got deeper, and I'm thinking and going over all the things that they're learning in school and everything, and I'm like, no, it's time. We need to homeschool them. So that.
And I've known a lot of people that have been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few good friends actually. It's crazy how 6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
You know somebody who knows somebody who then knows somebody that you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've seen some of them where they have. I have one friend of mine who's a nomad. Do you know what a nomad is?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a nomad, and he goes in an RV with his wife, and they travel the country.
Yeah.
And they have kids, so they homeschool their kids and they travel the country. And I was talking to him, and I was like, I mean, he does like network security and stuff like that, but I was like, you're really lucky because you get to spend all this time with your family. And he goes, you know that the United States has just about everything you could ever want to see anywhere in the world. We've got the mountains, we've got the beaches, we've got the deserts, we've got there's so much here.
Yeah.
And it's like, and my kids have played with Indians. My kids have played with, you know, and they talked about this whole emotion.
Yeah.
And when you decide to take a step back and take control of it, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of stories you would have about, you know, Gabriel or whoever, and the different experiences you've been able to have that now because they are homeschooled, and now because you are able to run a business from home, and of course, whatever it is, it kind of builds a whole, how do I say it? It builds a strong family dynamic almost.
Yeah, absolutely does. Yep, for sure. So, I mean, all in all, that's why we do what we do. As far as taking it to the next level or growing it or anything like that, I feel like where we are now affords us to live a lifestyle that we can enjoy as a family, in tandem with other things that we do. Obviously, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
You have to do more than one thing to be able to be successful. So taking it to the next level, I don't really foresee me putting more effort into saying like opening a warehouse or having a storefront or start shipping. Because that's another thing too, is our business is 100% local. Everything I make is here, is sold here.
To ship it.
Yeah, well, it can get pretty expensive. Getting them boxed and ready for shipping actually can end up taking longer than actually building the boards.
Really?
Yeah, so, you know, it's not something that I'm interested in doing for that aspect unless we take it to the next level and have the space and the capacity and the people, the manpower to do it. But, I mean, really thinking about where I want to place my efforts going into the future here. So my two sons now, I have a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old. You know, so Isaac, I think, is going to be 17 this coming July, and you know, that's a big deal.
Right.
Pretty soon, they're going to be having completely different conversations with me. You know, so I think keeping sustained now, and then investing more time into my family. So sustaining the business so that it can keep us going. And then investing more into my family dynamic, being able to get them to a level where they can be successful on their own, and then come back and maybe look at this and say, you know what, now is the time when I can take this to the next level, when my focus can be 100% on this, and not split into like 2 or 3 other different compartments.
And who knows, maybe even down the road, the boys could be like, hey, Dad, let's
Yeah, and that's another thing too. The boys do help. They help quite a bit when they have some free time. During usually on a Thursday or Friday, they're done with school.
Right.
Just because, you know, when you're homeschooling, you can put more effort towards getting the actual work that needed to get done, and then learning other things. A lot of extracurricular things that they're involved in. But when they do have free time and I'm here working, you know, they'll help out and do you know, either building or sanding or flipping cornhole bags, you know, just to help out, or filling them with corn, whatever through the process is necessary.
It could be and sons.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
I get 10% loyalty.
Okay, sounds good.
I came up with the name. But that's awesome, and it's something that you can. I really like the fact that you have been very intentional with how you want to run things, because a lot of people, they say, oh, well, it's going, I have to go with it. And you're kind of like, hold on a second, it's going.
Yeah.
But it ain't gonna run.
It's not gonna influence. It's not gonna run my life. I mean, it influences, but it's not just gonna overrun it. There are times, obviously, you know, like during our busier seasons, like through the Christmas holiday, through that time frame towards the end of the year, beginning of the year, we do have to do some extra sacrifices, you know, as far as like working more and doing more to keep up with the demand, just because we do want to have satisfied customers as well. So that's another branch on our tree that we're always trying to keep in good condition, is being able to have happy, satisfied customers. Everybody who comes in and places an order, we do want to make sure that we're able to satisfy that order, and we prioritize everyone who comes in and orders from Renninger's Market. So they are always week to week. So if they come in on a Saturday and place an order, they can come in next Saturday and pick it up. So
just like that.
Yeah, the expediency of being able to place an order and pick it up pretty much the same week is a big selling point for us. because if you were to order set online, let's say, it's going to be 2 weeks minimum before it arrives at your doorstep.
And especially now, I sent I went to Denver,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent a postcard to Christian,
Mm-hmm.
who lives in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent the postcard 2.5 weeks for one little postcard.
Yeah.
And I sent it, so I know that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can imagine the delivery being at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, because there's always lead times with building them and everything. So, unless you buy them from the surplus bulk places, like if you go to Academy and just get a generic one, or from Bass Pro Shop or something like that, they'll serve their purpose for the weekend. But the quality that they're built at, so that they remain light, so that they're generic and easy to move around and everything, it's not going to last you.
You're right, most of the
Right.
cornholes that I've seen that are like the Academy Dixon, whatever, they start to twist.
Yeah.
They start to, like, for example, there was one that we were just kind of like, it's kind of like a crazy mirror kind of circus thing, where you could look at it and you could not get this side corner, you could not get it to touch, so it kept lifting. And it's just, so we tried to tilt it, it's just, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these aren't going to do that.
So they won't, because of the way that we build them. But we are dealing with wood, and if the wood gets wet and then dries, it can. So there's a potential for it, but it's very, very low, especially with the 3/4 inch plywood that we use. It keeps everything really straight and rigid. The plus thing, though, is that if you do purchase a set from us, and that does take place, the way we build the boards, they're engineered to be corrected.
Right.
So I can actually, even after a board is completely customized and painted and everything, I can disassemble it completely and reassemble it with new parts, so that it saves the face of the board. So what we do is we essentially guarantee all of our work being able to do it that way.
Nice. And they can come to you instead of having to wait for a processing center or whatever.
Yeah. So through the years, I'd say I probably had about 5 or 6 of them in total that ended up getting damp.
Right.
And then the pine, when it gets wet, it expands, and when it dries, depending on the wood grain, not to get all technical, it can dry in a different form. Like it can twist a little and then dry in that form, and then if it keeps it, it'll twist more and more. But being able to remove the whole perimeter of the board without damaging it, and install new wood, and then repainting it again, and basically refurbishing it completely. So in every instance, since it happens so few and far between, in every instance I have been able to repair the boards and then get them back to the customers.
See, that's awesome, and that's the other thing that I love about local.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it takes the village, and we gotta try to keep it a village.
Yeah.
We gotta try to help each other out. But one of the other things is, you know, you're gonna be the one that shows up at somebody's football game.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be Walmart. It's not gonna be any of these other people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just one thing, and I think that's a blessing in itself that I think a lot of the people in the communities are starting to come around to is, wait a minute. And I think the pandemic had a lot to do with that, because the mom and pops were still staying open, struggling, but still staying open.
Yeah. Because they had to.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that their necessity to stay open provided for the people who needed the products, who needed something to do, needed, you know, all the things that these smaller businesses were able to rise up and take control back from, you know, the bigger box stores.
Yeah.
So
and then one of the other things, and this my big takeaway, and this is one of the things I always think of things in terms of threes, right? And one of the 3 that I love about as far as local businesses, I can pick up the phone if something happens. I can pick up the phone and I can text the person that owns that business.
Yeah.
I can actually talk to them.
Yep.
You know, and a lot more can be done, and you can also tell how much more they care.
Yeah.
And a lot of these places that have these big box stores, or they'll say, oh, we're locally owned because the person bought a franchise that's all over the nation. Yeah. They're not really locally owned.
Yeah.
I mean, they're local.
Right.
They're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And can you text them? Can you say, hey, my frappe, hey, my whatever? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the things that I really love about the come up. I am going to be, in the next 3 to 6 months or so, I'm going to be trying to do some kind of a festival. And I hope to see you out there. I know that you'd be love to be out there if I can.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. Is there anything that you want to let everybody know before we kind of wrap this up? And do you have anything coming up? Do you have any, we're going to get a link that you can order from, or do you have Facebook pages?
Yeah, Facebook page is how we do a lot of our business. I do always recommend just go to Renegers Market and see us there.
Renegers.
Yeah.
Renegers Market. I'm gonna put. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll do a shout out, kind of link them.
Yeah, we're there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Okay.
from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And you can place an order there and then just come in the next weekend and pick it up.
Ah, perfect. And I want to thank everybody for coming and checking out and getting the 3-2-1 on Abe's custom cornholes. This is Abe. So if you have any questions or anything, I'm gonna have links, hashtags. I'm gonna have Facebook pages. I'm gonna have all that stuff, pictures, just so you can see the quality of work. When I say there's a huge difference, I really mean that there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
There really is. And when you can see it for yourself, you can say, oh, okay. And when you realize the cost between the two, it kind of bite the bullet on that right there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, again, thank you for coming and getting the 3-2-1 on Abe's Custom. We'll see you guys next time.